we all victimize ourselves a little bit. We all think, oh my God, this is the worst. I'm going to be so embarrassed. I think everybody knows that nobody's family is really normal. I don't know why we don't normalize that. Can we normalize knowing everybody's family is not normal? Can that be? Is that okay? Don't be embarrassed by your family. I don't care what you think somebody else's family is like. No family is perfect. Cawfee Talk. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Cawfee Talk with Cannistraci. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you're feeling great. If you're listening to me on a Monday morning, hope you got your coffee. I have mine today. Drinking it black with just a little bit of cinnamon. I can never say that word. Like cinnamon. You know what I mean. Cinnamon. Yeah. All right. I wanted to talk to you guys today about the fact that you do not have to be embarrassed about your family. Here we go. I started watching the show The Bear. I guess I'm late to the game. And it does depict an Italian-American family from Chicago with all its good, bad, and ugly. And at the same time as I started watching it, and I did relate to a good portion of it. When I say a good portion of it, I mean the dysfunction part of the family. It got me thinking. I have a girlfriend who just started dating someone, and she was saying like how great his family was, and oh my God, and his family's so great, and I have my family who and like, I think she was almost like idealizing, like, is that the word? Like his family as if they were so great. First of all, they're a facade. First of all, you don't know his family. I don't care if his parents are still married. I don't care if they live in the same house that they raised their children. And I don't care if they have a white picket fence. There is no family that is without dysfunction. Are there more dysfunction than others? Yeah, of course. I didn't come from a perfect family. I came from a single mom. My dad was an alcoholic. A good portion of my family are alcoholics. I don't talk about it. I do talk about it a little bit on stage, but I haven't talked about that with you guys yet. And that'll be a topic for a whole other day. But it just got me thinking, like, we have these perceived ideas of what we want our family to look like. First of all, you can't change your family. I have gotten to a point in my life where I say to myself, I can accept people for who they are. I create boundaries with them, even if they are family members, because I have to do what's best for me. But I also say, hey, they did the best they could with where they came from. And I think that happens with every generation, right? I think everybody who has kids tries to do a better job than the parents they had. And that will probably be until the end of time. So it just got me thinking. It's like, I think we get so embarrassed by image or what we think family should look like. And there is no perfect model. This isn't Leave It to Beaver. I have a really sick joke about June Cleaver that I do on stage that I'm going to throw it on here. I don't know if we're going to take this out, but I make reference to like, was it horrible being a 1950s housewife, right? Like, what did you have to do as a 1950s housewife, right? Clean, cook, semi-annual anal, right? No, everybody, we're not thinking every once in a while June Cleaver had to bite down on a pillow like the rest of us. It's not all what you think it is, okay? She wasn't smiling in every episode. All right, that was whatever. What I'm saying is there were times she went home and her husband was talking to her and she was probably like, hey, listen, tonight, Leave It to Beaver. Get what I'm saying? All right. Anyway, we'll probably take that out. No, maybe we won't. What I'm saying is not even the Cleavers were perfect, right? That's what it was in a 30-minute episode. You had to watch from beginning to end how they resolved an issue. But there were always issues. I don't care how it got resolved. I don't care if it got resolved in 27 minutes with 3 commercials. There's always an issue in everybody's family. So I think stop putting so much pressure on yourself that your family is a direct reflection of you. Yes, it's hard. Yes, there are holidays. Yes, there are funerals and weddings and situations where we have to be around some of the people we would not normally be around if we weren't related to them. But that doesn't mean that's a direct reflection of who you are, nor does it mean should you be embarrassed. I think as we get older, we just can do the best that we can to create the families that we want. And they sometimes don't have to be blood relatives. But there are, in most circumstances, situations we can't get out of or feel like we can't get out of. And we have to just accept people for who they are. And it's a heavy topic for a morning cup of coffee, but I have to think we all go through it. I remember I was a little girl. God, I was in St. Lucie, so I was maybe in middle school, and they would have these events in the school gym. It would be a dance night or a gym night. And I remember I had my mother, my father, and my stepfather were all chaperones. And I remember a kid came up to me and they said, "It's so cool. Your first dad sold me a Snickers bar at the counter, and then your second dad was the guy who was monitoring the bathroom." And I thought to myself, I don't have two dads. But to that person, that was cool. To that kid, it was like, wow, both your dads are here. And I remember initially being like, oh God, my stepfather and my dad and my mom. I probably had this like insecurity going into it that I was embarrassed that kind of everybody had to show up. And there were kids there who had nobody show up. My husband came from a two-parent household, and I did not. And I remember having this image of what my in-laws were like, and then I remember my mother-in-law just, and not to say they weren't a great family and that they don't absolutely love each other and that they're not there for each other, but my mother-in-law would tell me stories and then I fought with Frank that morning. And I'm like, it all happens everybody's going through it. There is no situation where your parents aren't going to fight or they're not going to agree or they're not going to agree in front of you. I don't know how, listen, parents today are definitely getting different. Definitely the way they discipline their kids and speak to their kids is way different than how I grew up. There was Child Protective Services was around when we grew up in the 80s. I don't know. I think all our parents would be away right now. But as different as we all are, it's really all the same. It doesn't make a difference what the dysfunction is or what the issue is. At the end of the day, everybody is a little bit embarrassed of either where they came from or how they grew up or bringing other people around that may not understand. It could just be ethnic parents. You could just have ethnic parents and you could be embarrassed by the way your house is decorated or the way they cook food or their politics. Forget it. That's a whole other podcast. You can be embarrassed at what your parents say. And let me tell you something. As they get older, parents speak more abruptly. And you know what? After a certain age, I think they've earned the right to. So if you don't agree with your parents' opinion and they're super vocal about it, okay. Again, doesn't mean it's your politics. Doesn't mean you have to be embarrassed by it. It just means that's who they are. And at this stage in the game, you accept them for who they are. You want to give a little warning like, oh, I don't really get along with my family, or somebody says that, okay, fine. You don't have to be embarrassed. I just feel like you need to hear that sometimes. I feel like it's just nice to be given that peace of mind, or for me to just say it directly to you, like that it's okay. You're not alone. So, I think we all victimize ourselves a little bit. We all think, oh my God, this is the worst. I'm going to be so embarrassed. I think everybody knows that nobody's family is really normal. I don't know why we don't normalize that. Can we normalize knowing everybody's family is not normal? Can that be? Is that okay? Don't be embarrassed by your family. I don't care what you think somebody else's family is like. No family is perfect. I don't care if they have money. I don't care if they have houses and boats or they all live in the same house their whole lives together. Like I said, none of that makes a difference. Everybody has issues. Everybody has family problems. Everybody has conflicts with their parents. Everybody doesn't want to disappoint somebody in their family. It's what it is. So if you are in a new relationship and you're embarrassed by your family, or if you have to have a holiday or bring people around your family and you get embarrassed. Don't be. I have friends who don't like their parents even or embarrassed by certain situations. But I think as we get older, we just go, oh yeah, no, I know, I get it. That's it. Nobody's judging. Everybody is so self-consumed in their own lives. Nobody is sitting there ready to point a finger about if your mother drinks too much wine. I'm sure people will be upset that you're upset by it, or they'll feel for you, but it's not embarrassing. It's not what you think it is. So that was really my talk this morning. It's short and not necessarily sweet. Maybe your coffee is sweet, but it's brutal truth. Just accept people for who they are. It doesn't mean that's who you are. And that's it. That's my morning coffee talk today. Don't be embarrassed. Everybody's family is dysfunctional. Coffee talk.